I staring at the camera or
Well, you can look at me as well, but if you're spilling any sauce, look at the camera.
putting any sauce? Okay, I like it.
What's your name and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Julian.
Yeah.
I'm the CMTO for a lead gen company called Cavis. We mainly do lead gen for law firms. And yeah, it only just started up in March, so it's not been that long.
Oh,
Less than a
March
year.
2025.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, wow.
Brand new.
What is it like to do lead gen for law? Do you have a lot of regulation? Are you
Oh,
testing a
God.
lot? Like, tell me. I have no idea, so.
Yeah, it's really quite rough in that case. to be
Yeah.
honest. Compliance is an absolute nightmare, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of processes that you have to go through. The biggest issue with this, and a massive issue I think the majority of lead gen firms have, is just the amount of time it takes to get an ad approved.
Right.
And obviously, we all know this from meta ads. Ad fatigue is biggest killer for any business. It can take like a week or 2 weeks for compliance
Really?
approval, especially when you're a startup.
Yeah.
You're-
Well, I feel like if you're a startup, you're even quicker though, because it's like there's less processes, right?
No, I know you're quicker, but the issue is that you're still trying to make a name for yourself with all these partners.
Right.
And the problem with that is that you're really down low in the priority list.
Right,
So
right,
they don't
I
check
see.
your ads because obviously you're not one of the big spenders. You're not trying to
Yeah.
do the majority of leads. So you're like lower down on that.
I see.
And
I see.
it took quite a while to get over that hump, but
Like, yeah, because
we
a
figured it
feedback
out.
loop is so important, right?
yeah, all of it requires to be regulated and approved.
I guess I would love, because I guess the context for everyone, it's like we basically had overlapped back at MVF, like very, very, almost briefly, basically,
Yeah.
back in the EPM team. But yeah, I guess I'd love to maybe know like your journey of, maybe from MVF or before, like all the way to how you got into lead gen legal.
Yeah.
I'd be like super interested. I think you have a really interesting like journey and experience. So yeah, would love to learn a bit more.
Yeah,
on that.
absolutely. I got hired into MVF, which is where we worked together.
Yeah.
My first role was actually as a PPC
Oh,
campaign manager.
really? Search.
Search.
You
Search was
really?
my first one.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, we back then there was only 50 of us at MVF, and
Yeah.
obviously, as you know, it grew to what was it, like 600 people?
5, 6, yeah, like a
So
big
it's
amount. Yeah,
massive
like
growth.
120 mil profit a year.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really, really fascinating. It was awesome being part of that growth. But yeah, in the first couple of years, it was just PPC. Learned that, helped grow part of that team. And one thing that I kind of really enjoyed was just growing very small campaigns. And I was always really interested in new channels and things.
Yeah.
So I was one of the people that helped with the Facebook campaigns, and then the one that I was most interested in initially was actually Twitter. It was quite small, especially in comparison to all the other channels, as you know, but
It's tiny. Yeah.
Twitter was one of those like high burn channels where it can get you tons of clicks and impressions, but then suddenly just die out.
Right.
And back then everyone was a bit more used to the PPC style where you just get ads and then you optimize and then suddenly you start growing it. And I was just really curious to try and crack that and learn how to do it. And yeah, that was one of the first times where we were trying to just launch as many ads as possible. And we realized that was the way that you essentially scale Twitter, keep the audience really broad. And back then, that wasn't really necessarily.
What year was this?
2015, maybe?
2015. Okay. Because I remember learning from Lewis and Sav, who are also great like marketers, and I think Lewis had learned from you. Like the best ads back then were basically jumping on the very seasonal, not seasonal, but like event trends.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, there's the World Cup, and then you would like put stuff related to that and get like massive amount of traffic.
Exactly, yeah.
So was that like stuff you did, or like what was working best back then?
Back then, I think the biggest one was actually just UGC. And there's something that we discussed a lot during MVF, which is something that I think people back in the 1940s discovered. They called it banner blindness, which is everyone was just, they're so used to seeing ads constantly on Meta, on Facebook, that they've almost trained their own brain to like just block it out, scroll past. And UGC back then was just absolutely smashed it.
It's a new thing,
because it's like, oh, this is not an ad. Let me look into it and read it. They won't skip past it. So that was one of the big things that was going on back then.
10 years ago, yeah, that's crazy. So then what did you do after MVF?
I went into a company called Decant Group. It was a whiskey investment firm.
Okay, yeah.
It was quite interesting. I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
And it was a very different strategy to style of marketing that I was doing at MVF. Because MVF, as you know, it's more just focusing on the lead and trying to get like a high quality lead, yes.
Yes.
Moving into Decant Group, it was more about LTV and like seeing which lead actually becomes more profitable later down the line, which is obviously a little more difficult.
So you did search. Then did you move to EPM like after that, or what
no? So
in between.
So basically, when I cracked that Twitter for MVF, they essentially said, okay, well, there is opportunity here. How can we grow it?
Yeah.
And they asked me, would you be interested in building this new team? It was kind of like an innovation team.
Yeah.
Trying to focus on these channels and just look at the context of each channel and try and just crack it.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just super interesting. I always said in my CV, like since the very beginning. My CVs have always said my favorite thing is to bring something from nothing and just make it absolutely huge. I just really enjoy that. So they brought me into that. Obviously, I was already cracked Twitter, but then they gave me a couple of extra channels, and we were obviously looking into different things.
Yeah.
But obviously, Pinterest was coming out. It was quite fresh back then.
Yeah.
We had Snapchat, we had LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And one by one, we were just growing each of these channels and bringing more people in. But I was working with some absolute geniuses, you included as well, which was, and Lewis and Zav, and Mikey as well. Do you remember?
Mikey, of course,
Yeah, and
I almost failed probation back then at MVF. It was crazy.
I do remember that.
Ops team, and then I was like, I gotta get out of here. And then I was like, I remember, I think talking to Lewis and Zav back then. I was keen to join the EPM team. I don't know why I didn't want to join Facebook or Search because they were like such big teams.
Yeah.
There's like 20 people or something, but EPM was like 3 or 4. I was like, oh, this looks sick. And it's like, I just want to learn marketing. And then at that point, when I was joining, you were transitioning away from EPM.
Yeah, exactly.
So, tell me about that. Yeah.
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, I think the cool thing about EPM is it's certain kind of mindsets. You don't really want to go into processes or something that's already been cracked. It's someone who's just curious and just wants to be like a ninja and just like try and crack all these different channels and be curious to see the context behind it. Yeah. I think that's what was quite unique from all of us.
From that.
I mean, that was a great team.
It was
we were killing it.
Everyone from there has done really well, pretty much. So then after EPM, what did you transition into?
After EPM, I went into the growth team. And the goal of the growth team, similar to EPM, instead of it being related to channels, it was more trying to find the best campaigns, the best subcats and categories, and try and crack them.
For MVF, exactly. Like on a whole, bigger picture, basically.
A bigger picture, exactly.
Okay.
And that was exciting.
And how long did you do that for?
A year and a half.
Okay.
A year and a half.
And then did you leave MVF after that?
Exactly. Yeah. So at that point, I was at MVF for 9 years, quite a long time. And then I moved into Decant Group, which is a whiskey investment firm.
Whiskey investment. Okay. Yeah. That's quite a strange investment class.
Yeah, it was.
How does that work?
They basically allow you to buy whiskey casks back when they're not mature. So obviously a whiskey cask, when it's first produced, is not going to be valued at anything.
Yeah.
The alcohol content is too high. But over time, when it reaches its maturity, the value of it increases. So that's kind of the goal behind it.
And you were doing like lead gen to essentially get people to invest in whiskey?
Well, it wasn't actually just lead gen. I was doing the majority of the marketing for whiskey partners and looking at the lifetime value. That was the first time that I really kind of moved into the whole CRM side of things, which was really interesting. And it's not really a side that you get to see from the lead gen world, like MVF.
Yeah.
But just seeing how the pipeline changes over time. It is B2C. Whiskey investment, but it was more closely aligned to B2B, which is
so you had like the CRM, basically.
Exactly, all the workflows.
And it's like the stages and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been learning a lot about that this year.
Yeah.
With Ad Manage. Cool. So it's like B2C ads, but B2B processes, kind of.
Exactly.
Like, did you have a sales team? I guess.
Yeah, we had a sales team.
Okay, you had a sales team.
And obviously, like the goal, in MVF, we always spoke to all our clients, said, please call the leads immediately, and try and close them. And oddly enough, that didn't work at Whiskey Partners.
Really?
Yeah, which was really interesting. And it was one of the first times I discovered this doesn't work for every business. And I was trying to figure out why that was. It took quite a while, but it was kind of a sensitive subject for many people. So the majority of people that were buying whiskey casks are pensioners, like 60 or 70.
Yeah.
And Native was one of our main channels, and they would all sign up to our forms quite late at night or quite early in the morning. And it just didn't have the right context to just call them straight away. We found that the best way to do this was either text them or just go through an email flow and try and get them to actually schedule in a call, because they would rather it be at a specific time because everything is a bit more scheduled.
Right.
So yeah, that was quite interesting.
What worked better, text or email?
Text worked way better.
And then were you texting like, oh, like, we'd love to chat, can you book a time here?
Yeah, exactly. Initially, this wasn't automated, so
it's done, man.
Yeah, so each of the sales guys would be like texting themselves. Well, the moment a lead came in, they'll probably wait about 20 minutes or half an hour and then text them unless they're already on a call and try and start a conversation. Because obviously in these kind of investment verticals, you have to build a lot of trust. And if you're calling them immediately, it just sounds really dodgy.
Right. Yeah.
So people get turned off from that.
So actually scheduling it builds more trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was actually one of the big learnings that we had initially, which is getting a lead wasn't necessarily as valuable as getting a scheduled call. So we integrated that into our lead flow.
Facebook or something? Like, did you pass back like this person's
not just that, our whole onboarding process was changed to schedule a call. So
what was it before, if it wasn't schedule a call?
Before it was just download a free brochure. And it gave you all the investment information in regards to how to invest in whiskey, like all the secrets of investing in whiskey, how certain people made a massive fortune by investing in whiskey. And that worked, but it didn't necessarily mean that they're going to pick up the call, the phone call. So what we did is they complete a form. How much is their current portfolio? Where should we send the brochure to? And then they'll put their email address. So perfect. Phone number, perfect. But at that point, many people do not actually pick up the phone or they don't respond. But after this, they say, hey, if you're interested, we have a professional who can guide you through the brochure. Would you like to schedule a call, or would you like a call back immediately? And it's just carrying on the process from there.
So that was like the last step, basically. Instead of submit, it's like actually schedule a call.
And then do the conversion event at that point.
Send that info back. And that's done in like the first session, basically.
Exactly,
And you optimize for that. Okay, because this is also kind of like CRO, right? Of like, how did you optimize to get people to schedule? So you kind of mentioned like a professional will walk you through the brochure. Was there any other things like that was like reframing from like a sales call to like, this is beneficial for you?
This actually took many tries.
And I feel like this is the hardest part.
Oh my God. Dude. And in these initial phases, you have so many different dials, and each step you can turn up or turn down. So I'll tell you one mistake that we had, which is initially when we did this, which is schedule a call, we increased our call bookings by, I think it was by 4x. So before, 10% of people were scheduling a call while they were being texted. But when we added it into the flow, 40% of our leads were scheduling a call, which was amazing, right? It was great. We thought, oh, this is incredible, let's carry on. And then the sales guys were just completely slammed with scheduled calls. But it was slammed so much that people would have to book in the future, and then they'll forget. And then the sales guys will spend the entire day waiting for a scheduled call, like try and call them. And the no-show rate was just absolutely enormous. So for them, the quality of the calls dropped enormously. And then the motivation with the team is so important within the sales team. They all want to be just constantly calling, like having that high energy. Everyone's like on it. And that disappeared, and it impacted the business.
Okay. So how did you fix that?
This actually took quite a while to fix, and again, it just goes down into the dials. So what we did instead is, okay, now you got your free brochure. We put the next step after that to be create an account and see what casks are available, right?
Oh, okay.
And then after that, when they create the account, add the schedule a call.
So it's like even further down the funnel, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a bit more intent.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what was your call reduction, and what was your improvement in like no-show? Do you remember roughly?
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it did improve dramatically.
Okay. And then what about like on the ads side, was there anything like different or interesting? You're one of these guys that's like loves to crack things. So it's like, was there anything you noticed trying to figure stuff out?
I tested so many different things. Often it would be quite frustrating because many things that I thought would work based on my learnings from MVF, like UGC, for example, it just didn't work for this.
Really?
And like I realized that many people require a lot more trust. The business isn't looking for loads of leads. Like that's not the most important thing. And it took me a while to transition from that. It's more about the quality of the lead and the quality of the call. And if you have leads that look like UGC and you're just absolutely inundating the sales guys with a ton of leads and the quality is low, the motivation on the sales team just drops and it impacts everyone. So having more professional ads, that was the first time that I kind of moved a bit more into the branding side, which I found quite bizarre. Because before I was just like, get as many leads in as quickly as possible. And
full performance. But I'm sure it was still a mix of performance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How did you blend those two worlds? Because like, I feel like no one is really able to do that well. So I would actually love to know how you did that.
We had our whole branding strategy behind this. Something that works really well was having the actual salespeople on the ads, themselves. So they're looking at the ads and they're like semi-professional, but also discussing a bit their bio. It's like this person will be one of the people speaking to you, and
like bottom and then the funnel. What was the image though? It's like picture of the salesperson.
And they'll be like holding a bit of whiskey or something like that, and just saying like, this guy's helped many people grow their portfolio. This is like a specialized person. They could help guide you. And
it gets that intent to like schedule a call with that person, so it kind of aligns in that way. And then, so was it mostly statics then that worked, or did you have like video, like the sales guy talking maybe?
We did that. So VSLs.
You did VSLs.
We did. It didn't work as well. I mean, it matched the performance, so I was kind of hoping it would do a lot better. But we tried VSLs and the landing page as well. The difficulty is that we're targeting a very specific type of audience, which is mainly people that were over 60. A modern style and a modern look on the landing page wasn't working, and it took such a long time to go to that stage. We ended up modernizing the page, but before that we built this whole brand on kind of like this older style, which really aligned with people that were over 60. But obviously there is a market for like people buying whiskey in their 30s or 40s, but the value is much lower. But we transitioned to that anyway. It was the right thing to do, just to like a bigger market and be a bit more modern on the page.
It didn't work as well to convert.
Initially, no. It took a while. It was just a lot of A/B testing.
You tested your way to the answer.
Exactly.
What were the channels that were working for you there?
Oh, native.
Native? Was it like more than 50%?
Yeah, really? Native absolutely killed it.
More than Facebook?
Yeah, more than Facebook. And
like what, like 80%? Like what are we...
it was about 60-70% native.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's massive.
Yeah, it's really big.
Outbrain? The two big ones?
Taboola and Outbrain, Oh, actually, and we tested MediaGo as well. But obviously Taboola and Outbrain were the biggest ones. But I mean, it's the perfect audience, you know.
Like 50, 60 plus.
We were looking at the average age per channel. The highest average age and the highest average order value was Taboola.
Really? Yeah. It's their highest quality channel.
It was.
I remember at MVF, it was like not great.
I know.
So...
I was surprised by this as well.
It's not always applicable.
Exactly.
Yeah, every business is different.
Exactly.
I actually get asked this a lot, like, oh, how should I like set up my account, or on Facebook, like how should I test? It's kind of an annoying question in a way, because there's not a right answer. And every account is like, it's like a fingerprint, it's like different. What I usually tell people is like, cool, there's maybe like 5 or 6 good strategies. It's like test them all over like, I don't know, 2 months. And just see like what works best on your account, and just like stick with that. Like don't change after that for like a year. And then whenever there's a new update, it's like then test it. But
completely agree. And like I had to learn that really like the hard way during this startup, during the lead gen through Cavis.
Well, what did you have to learn the hard way exactly?
Well, I went from Declan Group back into the lead gen industry, but this one was just for law firms. As I said, this comes with its own complexities as well, like regulated products, compliance. But when I looked at the market, the majority of landing pages were just really bad. They just looked terrible, and I was just thinking why. It didn't make any sense. They looked like they were designed back in the 2000s, which was really bizarre. I thought the best strategy is to try and just use this kind of modern sleek lead gen form that we know works, like the ones that MBF did.
Like kind of stuff.
Exactly, yeah. All these other forms from the lead gens are like multi-step. Sorry, like all in one.
Multi-input.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, I was like, oh, we're gonna kill this. Like, so we're gonna do way better. And then I did these modern sleek designs, and it didn't work. The conversion rate was just absolutely abysmal.
Really?
And I was thinking, what is going on? Yeah, it didn't make any sense. And then I tested their forms.
Yeah.
And it worked slightly better, not the amount that I wanted. I was thinking, what could be the reason behind this? One thing that we decided to do was put ourselves into the context of each of the users. And I think this is why EPM worked, for example. It was just looking at the context of each channel. Like, how do people interact with a certain channel like Twitter or TikTok? And we decided to do that at Cavis. And I think this is where we really found our breakthrough. So when you're considering law, we basically asked ourselves, when I'm thinking about like doing anything related to law, what kind of form would I be comfortable filling? And the first thing that came to our mind was HMRC, like tax returns. Like that's the kind of form where I feel secure. I can go in and put in any personal information. We all know that lead gen form does not look nice. It's not the nicest looking form, but you trust it.
Yeah.
So we decided to essentially just copy that exact same style from that,
HMRC,
which we haven't really seen from other lead gen providers.
Yeah.
And it killed it.
Really?
It absolutely killed it. So and our initial goal was to increase our conversion rate by 100%.
100%.
Yeah, because it was that low. It was so low.
What was it, like less than 1%?
Yeah, it was like 0.5%.
Damn.
Yeah.
You made that work back then with that percent?
Well, no. It was 0.5%, and we wanted to double it, right?
To 1%.
Yeah, exactly. And we thought, okay, that'll be okay. That's what these other guys are doing with their absolutely terrible forms.
Yeah.
But no, we 10x'd it.
10x?
Yeah.
What, 5%?
Yeah, 5%.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a huge win.
So your CPA has dropped by like 10x.
Yeah.
Your CPA.
It was absolutely insane. It was like such a massive learning, and it goes back to what I said. It's just all context related, and there's something that I would have never tested in the other place as well, or like in the Can group.
Yeah.
Because the form to me doesn't look nice. It's not like that modern sleek design.
Yeah.
But it's just again context. It's just what does the user think? Okay, this kind of looks like the .gov page, because again, it's not just. In these law firm things, it's not just asking for a ton of personal information.
Yeah.
It's also a requirement to have the signature of the user, because they're essentially entering a claim. You need to have a lot of trust to be able to do something like that.
And then did you try to improve from there, or like 5%? You're like, this is crazy. Like, did you like just go hard? Like once you got that breakthrough, what was your next step after that? You're just like, how do we pump every single channel into this?
The next step is just doing smaller A/B tests. I mean, all of this is quite tough because, as you said, it requires quite a lot of patience. One thing that I think people don't do enough is just invest. They're like quite worried about investing, even if it's not doing that well. It's just like get all the data.
Yeah.
Because even if it's not performing that well, let's say your cost per lead and your conversion rate is abysmal.
Yeah.
At least if you're pumping data into it and you're seeing what your conversion rate is along each of the steps, you can figure out which section it is that you need to improve drastically. Invest and like do big changes. If like you're not even close, just do massive changes.
Has to do big things.
That change that we did was absolutely enormous, but it required patience.
How did you even come up with that idea? Because it's not something a competitor was doing. I've never seen a form that's like the HMRC one on a lead gen perspective. So I'm curious, like, how you get the inspiration for these kind of ideas.
It's
like
just
big breakthroughs.
They're just brainstorm sessions. Yeah, brainstorm sessions. I was there with my team, so we were just thinking, like, when does a user feel comfortable enough entering that level of personal information, like something related to law? I mean, it's similar to how we cracked all these channels in EPM as well, emerging paid media. So LinkedIn, for example, like more kind of, you could probably speak more into this actually because you're like leading that entire side. But for example, Snapchat and TikTok, everyone was just copying the same ads as Facebook, just having ads that saying like slide in the right direction, just simple things like that, or just the spokesperson video ads that work so well for Snapchat and TikTok, like having someone there just speaking at the camera.
Bedroom or like UGC, old UGC.
Exactly. And that's not something that would necessarily work on Facebook back in those days. Back then people were using statics or high production video ads.
So it's one I hear a lot of, like, oh, like look at the channel, like what does well organically or natively, and just like recreate that. How do you get to that granular detail? of like to know what to test.
I mean, it's just like getting yourself into that mindset. Like, be the user, go through these forms, like, or those brainstorm sessions are so important because you get so many different ideas, and obviously you bounce ideas from the rest of the team. Someone brought in a magazine and then they dropped it into the center, and then they used that as their brainstorm session. Like, what would be interesting to add as a innovation tool for Snapchat? And in the magazine, someone pointed, why don't we do something with someone's face where you can change your face? And that was like one of the big innovation breakthroughs from Snapchat.
Yeah. I think it's easy in a brainstorm to just come up with stuff, but I think what people really underestimate is like the pre-prep of a brainstorm.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, how do you set that up for success?
I think we did that really well at MVF actually. We essentially ask everyone to think about a couple of ideas before they come in. We obviously had the whiteboard. We said like,
Can I explain it actually?
It was a bit more of a retrospective as well, like what's going well, what's not going so well. So we went through all the competitor ads, right? Oh, we brought in the creative team as well.
Yes.
We showed them which were the top performing ads at that very moment. And then we did a mood board. We put all these different images in, different ideas, really out of the box ideas.
Interesting. And in your current role now, so you mentioned it started in March, right?
Yeah.
And it was at like £0 basically.
Yeah, it was a complete startup.
From nothing. And now what is it at?
Well, we went from 0 to $1 million in 6 months, which is pretty.
That's crazy.
That's not that easy to do, like, especially when you're a startup.
UK only.
Yeah, exactly. UK only.
That's the even tougher part.
Yeah. People often forget, when you're starting a new Facebook campaign, new Facebook account, they don't let you to spend that amount of money. You need to build that trust, which is always quite frustrating, especially when you have these big goals. The banks as well, they're going to see like 50k spend on Facebook. They're like, what the hell is this? And then they block your card.
And then Facebook
like 8 hours.
Your last bill didn't go through. Your whole account's like temporarily banned.
Exactly. It's tough, but we managed to push through.
Did the spend really start to scale once you had that conversion rate unlocked, or was it like progressive, or what did that look like?
Obviously, you don't want to spend until you have like a good baseline. So when you're a startup, it's easy to just focus on the ad platforms, but that's not what you should focus on at all. It's literally just user experience, CRO, getting like a strong baseline.
Really?
Because I mean, you can have the best ad in the world, but if your conversion rate is abysmal, it's not going to do anything. And then in the end, you're wasting like some potentially really effective ads for the future.
Right.
And it's actually one of the issues that we had initially. Some of our ads had crazy CTRs, like 2% CTR, 3.3% CTRs on Meta. But then our conversion rate was too low. So loads of engagement on the ad, then they'll come into our landing page and just completely drop off.
Those bounce,
So it was just getting that part right. And while you don't want to spend too much, you still want to invest. It's like, it's not wasting money. It's still an investment. And I think that's like a key thing. Just invest money into the landing page, figure it out, and then just be patient and make big changes. That's the key thing.
Did you work with like a team of like contractors, or did you have that in-house, or how did you set that up?
We had both. Obviously, because there's just too much to do.
It's like there's so many priorities, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's 10 priorities, no priorities.
Yeah.
So like, how did you handle that?
And you're trying to do a startup, so you're trying to hire people, you're trying to put processes in place. You're trying to get through this whole compliance issue, which is just like slowing down your ad production. I mean, contractors was definitely like a key part of the business, but also doing it in-house. You don't want to rely solely on contractors, but the more big tests that you're running, the more you're learning.
And did you find any like good tools or any like AI things that like came up in the last like 8 months of like trying to crack this?
Yeah, absolutely. If anything, it's been too much. Like, it can be quite a distraction because everything's growing so quickly. I was one of the first hires, so I hired the tech team and the marketing team.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But one of the big things that the CEO was asking me is like, should we just use one of these big AI companies? Like, there was this AI company that came up to us and said, we could automate everything for you, like do the entire code, everything for you. And in my head, I was just thinking, is it worth doing this investment right now with the speed that AI is growing? Like being committed to a company where it would just build supposedly build your entire infrastructure, but then you're going to be stuck with this AI company.
What was they offering exactly?
So
What was the company?
I can't remember the name exactly, but what they offered was essentially a tool which allows you to write 50,000 lines of code within a day, right? And so you tell it exactly everything, all the regulation, and then it will just build the page for you and build the backend for you, which is useful. But I mean, AI is moving so quickly now that it can help you with that anyway. And it's good to be able to actually just know your own code base and like be able to modify it in case of anything.
Kind of don't want to outsource tech.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to do that.
I've seen it go wrong so many times when people do that. And it's like, I feel like there's some key areas it's like you really need to have in-house.
Yeah, exactly. It's so important.
Yeah.
So that was a big talking point. But the other thing as well is just distractions in general. Like there's so much things in AI.
Out of all the things, like what's top 3?
Some of the stuff that's coming out is absolutely amazing. And you know, one of the things that we tested actually was, I'm not sure if you've seen, you know, cutting like the planets.
Yes.
Have you seen that? Yeah. We did like these ASMR type videos where you're cutting or like really odd ones from AI. But then you have the transcripts at the back.
Okay.
Talking over it just to try and capture people's attention.
Did that work?
It worked okay, but it didn't end up being the top performers. Okay. So our top performers ended up being, I guess it is more related to like law. It ended up just being like breaking news style ad, a newsroom, for example, something meant to be like trustworthy.
And was it a video behind that, like a reporter?
We did. Both worked absolutely great.
Really?
Like, sometimes static works better than videos.
Really?
At times, yeah. It depends.
Yeah, every company you work at is like a different style of winner. You know, it's like first 2-3 months of a job, it's like you got to get a winner, or else it's like you basically get fired. I remember at Zoe, when I joined, it was like an agency that was doing like super branded ads, like terrible static kind of thing. And I was like, oh, this should be easy. I was like, and then I did like some UGC. It didn't really work. I didn't do enough user and competitor research at the time. And that's because there was no competitors in the UK.
Yeah, of course.
So basically I looked at the US, and the CGM market, which is the glucose thing on the arm, was a lot less regulated there. So there was like 3 big companies that were doing it, and I was just like, I basically like scanned their whole ad library like several times, because you can't see like a top winner in the US. What patterns would repeat a lot in their ad library? What were they using a lot? Basically this like fear tactic of like, oh, it's like a needle, it's gonna hurt. Like that was what ended up working the best, and has actually changed the whole like Zoe brand, because that angle just works so well that it's just like probably spent like, I don't know, 10 million on that angle.
Wow.
It's
Jesus.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that. I saw that a lot.
It's like, oh, Zoe, yeah, that thing, right?
I mean,
it's
it was
like
a great ad.
And the whole thing was like, I took that from a US competitor, and then I added more tension, because everyone would be like, like that, and then I would add like 3, 2, 1, so it's like a countdown, and you have like a basically like engagement hack of like getting people to stay a bit longer, and then that's a good signal to Facebook, like, oh, that's a good video, like let's push it more, and a good ad, and that absolutely crushed. When you get like such a killer format, it's really hard to get a new one.
Yeah.
So it's like, how have you tackled that aspect?
Yeah.
It's like, cool. It's like your ads fatigue. You do new ones, and it kind of works, but then it's like the fatigue gets like more and more extreme. It's like you get a new winner, but now maybe it only lasts like 2 or 3 weeks instead of like 3 months. So how do you tackle that?
Oh yeah, that is so tough. Like ad fatigue is like an absolute killer, and just constantly trying to find that new hook is just exactly. I mean, it's funny you say that as well, because we tested this style of, you know, leaning into a certain problem. Yeah. And as we said, all these things like work for certain areas and don't work for others. It didn't work for us. On the law side, that side didn't work.
The fear angle.
Because again, it goes into just trust, you know, already it being just like, exactly.
But yeah, how have you kind of overcome like format fatigue?
Just nonstop. Like, and as I said, like the brainstorming sessions, if something works, you just want to iterate on it. But if I'm honest, the biggest wins we often find for new hooks is just going completely left field, like just trying something completely new, something that will capture someone's attention. And
what have been some of like your biggest like mistakes and learnings over the last like 10 years?
I mean, there's been so many mistakes. Like, oh my god, there's been so many times where, like, you know, there'll be like a budget mistake or like a bidding mistake, and that anxiety, that's just, I've had to build this into my soul, just having anxiety, even though like I double check it 1 hour later, I'll just have that anxiety in the back, just through all these years of silly mistakes with the budgets or the bids. And I just have to go back into it and just double check it. You know, Google added this feature of like, your budget has changed quite significantly, like can you just confirm your sign-in? It's for a reason. It's just for people people like me that just made a stupid mistake on this.
Yeah.
And the main thing is just like double, triple check.
And what about biggest like learnings?
The main one for me, I think we kind of spoke through this already. It's just like context, just having context for any scenario, whether it's just the campaign itself or the vertical or even the channel that you're promoting on. Like what mindset is the user in?
Yeah.
I think this is why EPM actually works so well. You know, Snapchat, for example, works so well for car-related categories, and it was because Snapchat was kind of a platform that was used to show off almost. So it was like it was really good for those kind of campaigns.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, like car-related campaigns. And then LinkedIn, it works really well for B2B for a certain reason. There's just context. Pinterest worked great with like female audiences. Like I'll give you another example that actually works quite well for us in law firm, which is on context-related ideas. One of the claims that we're working on is just for females that are aged 35 plus. In that context, where can you find them? And we actually went for something new that I haven't tried before, which was motorway service areas.
Oh.
I'm not sure if you've tested that in the past.
No,
yeah,
I haven't.
We just put posters up across all the female toilets.
Like out of home.
In the female toilet in motorway service areas.
Wow.
It works. It works.
Measure, right?
Yeah, it's not too hard to measure actually, because you use a QR code and you use a phone number, and you can track it.
QR tracking, it was good results.
Yeah, you put all the URL parameters in the QR code.
Yeah.
And you can even put what service stations on there, or like which one's working best. And then you can also put the phone number in there as well, which works pretty well.
I didn't realize that. And were these like digital or like physical? Like
they're physical.
Yeah, okay.
Physical
posters. Like the digital banners, but like they're physical.
Exactly.
Wow. And was that like a big channel, or it just?
No, it did decent. Effective? I mean, one thing for some of these campaigns is that the volumes are actually quite low. Even like small changes on this is quite effective. So it's just being a bit more targeted. Yeah, another big context related one that we had was just aligning with our partners. So they often do press releases, and getting that time slot for that PR that they're doing absolutely killed it for us. So for example, we would get a time slot for when they'll be on The Guardian or when they'll be on the BBC.
Yeah.
And then the moment that happens, we'll just launch Google campaigns related to that article. And then we'll also have spokesperson videos talking about that ready for the day that it's happening. So like, let's say on the BBC, there's an interview with someone, a claimant for a certain class action lawsuit. What we'll do is that we'll get a spokesperson to say, did you guys see the BBC today? This woman suffered so much from this, and she has a potential claim for X amount, right?
But wait, I don't understand how you get the info that like the press is going to release it.
Oh no, all of this is organized by the partners.
Oh, so the partners say like to The Guardian, like, oh, we're going to do this thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so you have the heads up. And then it's like, how do you amplify it? Basically?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So with search, and you run like also like native or Facebook or
exactly
at the same time.
The spokesperson video ads like TikTok what's great during these periods. Twitter, like just get the hashtag of like BBC or whatever. Facebook absolutely smashed it as well.
Really?
Like you would just have the spokesperson say, did you see on the BBC what happened today?
That's such a good like did you see? It's like what did I miss?
Exactly.
Like last question is more of a personal one, but I guess in the last like year I'm always trying to find like cool new gadgets, like or something. It's like, what's been your favorite purchase for under £1,000? I'd say. Like, what's something that's like changed your life in a way that's like, I couldn't go back.
It's gonna be really boring, so I don't know if I should mention it, but it's just a standing desk.
Okay,
But it's for a reason, because it's I've been working from home for the past year. Honestly, like there'll be times where you just won't have enough time in the morning to just go out and go for a walk. Like before, I didn't realize the impact that it made on my body. Just even going to the office, just walking to the office, it was just such an important part of my day. And if you just end up not walking, like I was doing like less than 2,000 steps a day. So it was just not like, I was not feeling well, you know. And just switching to a standing desk, like it's I just felt instantly just more
focused. Like the whole day?
Not the whole time, but at least like half of the day, like I would be standing, and it just made up for the fact that I wasn't walking. But it is quite tough, like working from home. It's very easy to just like not walk enough. And it can be really quite unhealthy. So that to me was my main game changer.
Nice. My hack for that back then when I was working from home a lot was I had the Pret subscription, if you remember. And I would basically just like, it's like I would go to the office, which was at home, but I would go to Pret first, get a coffee, and then come back. And that was like my psychological, like, okay, I'm gonna go to the office.
I love that. It's almost you need that objective.
Cool. Well, anyways, thanks Julian for coming on. For your convo, super interesting tips. I'm gonna think of now like the lead form stuff and like the context. I'm gonna like rethink. I'm the user, like what do I expect? Because I've been trying to do a bit more like paid and CRO stuff for Ad Manage, and I'm like trying to craft it basically. Like we kind of have like a bit of the MBF form of like one step at a time, very easy to do, and that's actually been working like pretty well. We've recently transitioned to like self-serve a bit more.
Yeah.
But I haven't really like taken it from that angle of like,
Interesting.
cool, if I'm the user, what do I expect when I go on this landing page? We started off with book a demo to get to, because everyone's workflow
Schedule
is
a
so
call.
different. First of all, is this even a good fit for you? Almost like qualify in a sense. And so for a lot of people, I would actually just tell them like, cool, yeah, this is, you don't need this, like, this is not your problem.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to actually just make better ads.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't going to solve like your problem. Which is, I don't know if that's a great like sales thing, but I was like very honest. People like super appreciated that, and then like would come back like 6 months later. It's like, okay, now I have this problem. Like, I know you can solve it. So
awesome.
that was a cool like learning when I was doing like so much sales. But yeah, now we're trying to do a bit more self-serve, but it's like V2 of like our onboarding flow. Or V3 maybe.
What do you think then in terms of context?
What's like big now, right, is on LinkedIn. You either do like a lead magnet or people like see some content and then like explore you or the thing more. And the big kind of sources like Twitter, LinkedIn that people are coming from, a lot of like word of mouth and recommendation. And what we found of like word of mouth people is they're already like bought in. They're like, yeah, just like sign me up ASAP basically. So that one is a lot easier, but I haven't really cracked like the cold channels yet. So I still need to do a lot of exploring on that. One of the things we try to do is like, how do you get the time to value to be as quick as possible?
Yeah.
So how do you get to the wow moment as quickly as possible in the onboarding with the least amount of effort input? And so we have like, please sign up, you connect your Facebook account. We then take like, cool, here's like your top copy. Here's all your settings that you don't need to copy paste. And then it's like upload your ad and then you click launch. And like we try to make it like as really simple as that. When you first set up a Facebook account, as you've probably done like a few times, it's like a lot of steps.
Yeah.
And it's like when I'm onboarding with a new tool, I want to get to like the thing I've signed up for immediately. It's like I was a big hater before on like demo calls. I was like, oh, demo, I'm not doing this tool. Because I was like, it's going to take like another day, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Yeah, I still need to figure out like more of the context on like that audience who don't want to do demos and just want to like figure it out themselves. So does that mean like, okay, we need really good documentation and articles if people get stuck or something, or make the product better so people don't get stuck in the first place? And then like in terms of the ads as well, like that I still haven't figured out yet either. But it's like such a fun challenge. I'm
awesome.
excited to like crack that basically.
No, I'm so happy for you. Absolutely smashing it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Cool. Well, yeah, we can wrap it here.